What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the physique update of Patrick Moore. Most likely at 7 weeks out of this year's Legion Sports. So I have never seen someone get so much criticism in the comment section under his physique update, especially on all the different pages that reposted his video. So people are kinda disappointed with him, the same way all these guys are disappointed with Sergio Oliva Jr. And that is solely based on their track record and how both these guys performed in their last few shows. So the lack of enough size to hang with the big boys, that has always been the biggest knock on Patrick. But in my opinion, conditioning is also one of those things that Patrick has been struggling with. I truly believe that he was never as shredded as he was in 2019 when he made his Olympia debut and he was able to place top 10. I don't think he has ever been able to duplicate that same conditioning. But looking at his current physique update, you cannot deny one thing. He is so beautifully put up together. He was really one of those classic guys in the men's open division before all these big names like Samson Dauda, Andrew Jacked, and even Rafael Brandao came onto the scene. And these guys took the game to a whole different level. So in comparison to these guys, Patrick still does not have enough size. But that is the thing. The goal right now is to win a pro show and qualify for Mr. Olympia for next year. So that is actually a great strategy to get the Olympia qualification as early as possible. Because if he is able to do that, he will have another whole year to solely focus on putting on more size. Regan Grimes also gave us an off-season physique update. So right now he's maintaining at a weight that is close to 300 pounds. And that is the plan for 2025. So Regan took one whole year off in 2022 to get bigger, to grow in all the necessary areas. So he came back in 2023 and he was able to place top 10 at the Olympia level and also presented the best conditioning of his life. But he himself admitted that the size that he gained in 1 year, that wasn't enough to give him a chance in those top 6 spots. So the man is gonna go through that same cycle one more time. He is gonna take the whole year off and come back better in 2025. So he's lifting big, staying very lean. And I think we can all agree Regan has that kind of frame that he can put on 10 more pounds without having to worry about getting luckier. He stood next to a mass monster like Michael Crizo at the Olympia last year and actually looked really great in terms of the size that he brought to the stage. Now he does need bigger biceps, more quad sweep to have a chance to crack top 6. Because as of right now, it looks so damn competitive in the first call out. Even this year, people are leaving out some big names like Brandon Carey. And what if Barros Sabani also gets to the US? He is also one of those guys who is gonna be aiming for those top 7 spots. So Regan needs to show up with a lot more improvements if he wants to have a shot at cracking top 6 at the Olympia stage. And that is gonna be in 2025. So I still believe doing classic physique category back in 2018, that was the biggest mistake of his career. Because there was one valuable year that could have been used to get bigger, but he totally wasted that. Next up we have an 8.5 weeks old physique update of Muhammad Foda. So this is gonna be his Olympia debut. But his confidence right now, that is worth appreciating. So he also had similar confidence before Tampa Pro as well, that he's gonna win this show and beat a veteran like John De La Rosa. And even the champ Derek Linsford, who was there in attendance, he agreed that if Foda was in the same condition as John, he would have won that show hands down, despite having a weaker back, especially in comparison to John. And that is based on the structural superiority of Foda. I mean, the man looks absolutely massive from the front and from the side as well. He has top tier aesthetics as well. He flows extremely good. So right now he must be looking to finish in the top 10 this year, which is kind of possible because even Tarmanian said that if Foda is able to bring better condition, if he is able to come in much more tighter, he is gonna compare extremely well with some of the biggest names of the industry right now. So we cannot expect to see a lot of improvements in his back because there isn't much time left till this year's Mr. Olympia. And the thing is, to really bring up a weak body part, he needs to go through another solid off-season, just like he had a few years ago. So Stefan, his coach, he's gonna make sure that he steps on the Olympia stage this year at his all-time best. Next up we have the physique update of Marcelo, aka Horse Md, one of the biggest superstars from Brazil. So the man looks pretty lean in this update. So the question is he prepping for a show? Well, the best that we saw from Horse Md, that was last year in Romania Pro, where he was able to beat Nathan Yesha, Muhammad Foda, and Andrea Presti. So when Horse Md was in prep for the Arnold 2024, it wasn't just the hype, based on his progress pictures and videos that made him look so polished than he actually was. It was also because of his amazing performance at Romania Pro, which was his pro debut, where he was able to impress a lot of the bodybuilding community. So leading into this year's Arnold, some people had him as high as top 3, and a lot of people had him as high as top 4. But the performance of Horse Md at this year's Arnold, that wasn't impressive at all. So Romania Pro 224, that is a little more than 12 weeks out, and looking at Horse's current shape, that is good enough time to get ready for that show again. So his last show was the Arnold Classic Ohio that was in March. So was 4 months of off-season enough time to bring up his back? Because he was way behind in the back development specifically. I mean, he lost the back shots to all the other guys at the Arnold Classic stage. Well, 12 more weeks, and we will find out. So with guys like Samson Dauda not doing the post-Olympia tour this time, that does create an opportunity for some of these guys to earn their Olympia spot for next year very early. So Horse's biggest strength, that is his massive core sweep. His arms are great as well. So he doesn't have a very small waistline, but he can create an illusion on the stage with that vacuum. So looking forward to his return to the stage next year or maybe this year. Next up, we have an 8.5 weeks out physique update of Tonio Burton. So what a great looking front lat spread that is. So time and time again, we said that Tonio Burton is the reminiscent of the Blade Dexter Jackson, especially the way he looked back when he was very young, especially if you take a look at the pictures from back in 1999. I believe that was his first Mr. Olympia ever. So back then, nobody would have thought that this guy would become the most winning IFBB pro of all time. And not just that, he will have an Olympia title and a record of 5 Arnold Classic titles as well. I mean, that is so huge, and that is highly unlikely to be broken. So the Blade Dexter Jackson stayed in his line, and he continued to get bigger, little by little every year, without compromising his waistline, and most importantly, without compromising his conditioning. And he was able to beat so many big names, and so many guys who were so much bigger than him. So there is nobody in the history of bodybuilding who had such longevity as Dexter Jackson had in the professional bodybuilding. So coming back to Tonio Burton, he must have been really disappointed that he wasn't able to defend his title at this year's New York Pro. But that was given, because he was going up against a guy like Nick Walker, but he wanted to place at least top 2. But he got beat by Martin Fitzwater as well. But he did show up looking absolutely amazing at this year's Cali Pro, and won that show with perfect scores. So Tonio needs more chest, and he needs more size overall from the front. And as great as his back is, he also needs more hamstrings in his back shots, which I'm sure he has been working on during this whole time. So he was top 8 last year at Mr. Olympia, but the one guy that beat Tonio Burton in 2022, Michael Crizo, he's out of the show. But Rafael Brandao and Martin Fitzwater, they are in, and they were both able to beat him this year. So do let me know what you guys think. Can Tonio Burton place top 8 again at the Olympia this year? And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.